Yes.
on what you've said about a challenge you're having where, you go to a gym, um, the professor sets the agenda, and the agenda isn't necessarily what the priorities are in your own personal
Yes.
training plan. Like my own personal training plan now is finishing X guard, scoring from X guard. I go to the gym tomorrow. They're gonna teach, let's say, they're gonna teach half guard bottom.
Yes.
It doesn't align. That's very common. That's very common. Um, for people who want to get extremely fast, you would have to circumvent behind that traditional way of learning things. Okay. Privates help a lot. One of my training partners got from white belt to 4-stripe purple exclusively on privates. And he achieved that in, say, half the time that people get.
Wait, from white belt to
4-stripe purple.
dang, that's
Exclusively on privates.
how long did it take it?
3 years?
That's still pretty fast.
White to 4-stripe purple.
That is-
That training partner of mine, he should be brown by now from a skills perspective.
okay.
But he just doesn't have a professor now, so no one is just there to grade him.
Yeah.
When I get my black belt, first thing on my agenda, he's going to be a brown belt. So, but then again, that's a different story. My point is
You said when you get your black belt, your agenda will be
to promote him to brown.
oh
That this guy I'm talking to you about.
Okay.
Now, why am I talking about this guy? I'm talking about this guy because every training session he has is related to that specific agenda
okay
that he needs to do to get good.
okay
Okay? If that person were me and I'm just doing all privates, the next 2 weeks, every time he attends class, it will be all about how do I score from X guard in the most efficient way possible. And all the drills he'd be doing would be I play bottom, my partner goes on X guard top, resist the balance, resist the back take, resist the submission. And then my job is to score from there. Everything. So very, very, very focused. But in your case,
yes
let's say your agenda is you have to be good in pressure passing.
yes
You go to the gym tomorrow, what's the lesson? Close guard. Did you waste your time? No. It's not. But would it be time better spent if the lesson were pressure passing? Yes.
Mhm.
So what is my recommendation? Couple of things. Do I recommend that you do exclusively privates? Absolutely.
absolutely
Absolutely.
okay
Exclusively privates and go to open mat.
oh yeah that helps
10,000%.
Yeah.
Now the downside is that's a very expensive
approach
approach.
okay
Very expensive. A private session costs $50, $100 per hour.
per hour yes
Bangkok, it's about $50 would be cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can go as high as $200 per hour. That's Bangkok, huh?
yeah
You train, let's say you plan to train 5 times a week.
uh-huh
That's $500 to $1,000 a week. That's too much.
your friend must be pretty rich man I can tell you that much
Or he has a black belt friend that does it. I don't know, but that's besides the point.
yeah
But generally speaking, it's more expensive for the great majority of people.
yes
Question number 2: what if you attend class? My recommendation is keep the lesson in your head,
Good.
write it down, put it in a notebook, or if the professor allows videotaping, do it. No, videotape the lesson so it's archived into your archive of
notebooks
knowledge, so that when it comes time to study close guard, I can just pull that file. But when it comes to sparring, you go back to your objective. You talk to your partners. Is it okay if you play guard? I'm going to practice my passing. Okay? And then at the end of the class, some academies devote a good amount of time for problem solving, Q&A, where the professor and other members of the team give you feedback. You ask a question, Professor. I was sparring and I'm doing this pressure passing, but for some reason my opponent always sticks his right hand frame on my same side shoulder. What would you recommend I do? Focus all your questions on your agenda. That makes it more efficient.
It's quite interesting.
I also like coming to class an hour early because I've got training partners that can go there and your specific objective, you can just drill and drill and drill that.
Mm.
So yeah, you just have to spend the greatest majority of your time studying your agenda.
Man.
That's my recommendation, Siddharth.